Well, hello, everybody. I'm so glad you all made it today. Happy Thursday. This is another one in our series of Autism and Entertainment webinars, and we're going to be focusing on how small businesses are able to bring on neurodivergent help and really take advantage of the skill set that they have to offer. I'm Judy Utah. I'm the chair of the Autism and Entertainment Work Group. And if this is the first time that you've attended one of our meetings, our mission is really about increasing employment for people on the spectrum in the entertainment industry. And we see that as having employers look at embracing neuro inclusion as an initiative and making sure that the autism brand is thought of well in terms of talents and skills. We've seen some exceptional talented people come through and want to make sure that the employers are aware that those are the skill sets that you bring. There are a lot of resources out there. I think Rebecca will cover a few of them today, and those make it more affordable for bringing on talent on the spectrum. And then finally, we want to make sure that the talent knows how to navigate their career. So that's really our mission. I'm excited to introduce our business partner program. So this is the third of three different levels of membership. We have an individual membership, which is for individuals who are seeking employment. The second is for educational partners. We have 20 educational partners who are, and we have a program specifically for them. And today we're introducing the business partner program, which is $395 a year. And that helps fund what we're doing. We need money to fund all the wonderful work that we're doing and could do. And so that basic small amount of money helps us run our organization. But for you, it gives you an opportunity to support this initiative and learn how to hire people in the industry, have access to the talent. So by being a member, you can work with us in terms of finding the right talent for your organization. You can promote your content. Let's say you have a film or a new game and you want to make sure the neurodivergent community knows about it. Great fan base, and we give you an avenue of communicating to those folks. There's opportunities for other types of sponsorships, and that gives you more visibility. And you have your logo featured on our website, and you can have 5 colleagues also participate. So this is new. We haven't it's on our website if you want to join, and we will be sending out some emails and then probably next week promoting this program. So tonight is the very, very first Autism and Entertainment Creator Community. This is a program about bringing together folks who have projects or an interest in working on a crew for other people's projects. And so it's a way of increasing collaboration for creative content. And we're doing it tonight. We're doing a hybrid meeting. So that means we'll have a virtual part of the meeting, which is just for the first hour. And then for those that want to come to our in-person meeting, it will be at a park at the Quail Hill Community Classroom in Irvine. So you have 2 different ways of joining. We already have over 90 people signed up for this event. So this is a big deal, and we're really excited. This is the first of these events. We plan to do it. We're going to figure out, is this a quarterly thing or is this a monthly thing? I think we'll learn a lot from today's session. Some of the speakers are Alex Estrella. Alex started a company called Blue Star Productions. He's made 3 recognized documentaries, and his production company is all about helping increase visibility of neurodivergent films. So he will be leading the sessions and sharing his journey in terms of being a creative creator. Nick Novicki is the founder and director of the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. This is a film challenge that's been going on for over 10 years, and it's very exciting for those that participate. It March 31st, so Monday is the last day to sign up. So we asked Nick to come and to discuss what is the film challenge about. Is maybe some people that are attending the creator community say, hey, I need a couple extra crew members to do the challenge, or hey, I'd love to do the challenge. Are you guys, can we build a team to work on it? So we're excited. Paul Hemstreet, who's here and you're going to hear from shortly, will be talking as well about the Autism in Entertainment film development group. So excited about today. If you want to register, you can go to our very beautiful website and find it under events and register. And we look forward to more of you attending tonight. We're about ready to start the webinar, the meat of the webinar, and I just wanted to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. We will be sending out links in an email, in the next few days after we've edited it. We've turned on live transcriptions, so if you want to have transcriptions, you can enable that on your device. And if you have questions, use the chat function. And I think that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoy today's session. And with that, let me move the spotlight to my good friend and colleague, Rebecca Beam. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello, how is everybody? Good. So, hey, I'm going to just start out with talking a little bit about our program at Zavikon and some of the reasons why organizations should consider hiring from our community. And then we're going to go into a panel discussion with employers who have been working with some of the AIE and Zavikon job seekers. So Zavicon's tagline is a bridge to inclusion. So I want to start out by just talking about what is neurodiversity. I think sometimes we assume that everybody knows what neurodiversity is. And neurodiversity includes all brains. There's a term of neurodivergent that refers to all brains, the brains that work differently. And then neurotypical refers to brains that work similarly. We're going to use these terms throughout today's webinar. So I just wanted to make sure that I explained those terms. And the reason why we're working so hard at AIE to help our creatives find employment is because the unemployment rate is really, really high for individuals with disabilities. But if you look at individuals who are neurodivergent, 15 to 20% of people have brains that develop or work differently. And there is an unemployment rate of up to 30 to 40% for individuals who are considered neurodivergent. When you talk about autism, the unemployment rate is even higher. 1 in 36 are born in the US they're receiving an autism diagnosis. The underemployment rate for adults is over 80%. So this is definitely an issue. And studies have shown that companies who embrace disability inclusion and hiring do see higher revenues, higher net income, higher profit margins, and they have access to a larger talent pool. So making a difference as an organization really is impactful. And the one statistic that I always love to share is our GDP could get a boost of up to 25 billion if just 1% more persons with disabilities join the US labor force. So if you can take that one in, you're impacting our overall economy by offering employment to the individuals that we serve. So this is not just a social issue, it's also an economic one. So I want to talk real quick about some of the programs that we can offer to organizations to help you get started in your hiring that are really impactful. All of the participants on the panel today are taking advantage of these programs, and Zavikon helps you navigate them. So here in California, we have what's called the California Regional Center System, and they serve individuals with disabilities that were diagnosed before the age of 18, meaning an individual that has autism or learning differences. In that program, if the person's a consumer, they can get a paid internship program set up for an employer of 1,040 hours. That 1,040 hours can be used over the course of 1 year. So if they work part-time, it's essentially a year. If they work full-time, it's essentially 6 months. And they are paid through a third party. So it's completely subsidized wages. And it's in both programs, it's competitive integrated wage, meaning that they will make the same wage as any other person working in that job within your organization. So really, as a company, all you have to do is sign a worksite agreement saying, yes, I'm the worksite, offer the training, the opportunity for them to work, and whatever equipment is necessary for them to get their job done. And the same program we can get through the Department of Rehabilitation. We typically work with a program called Pathways to Success, which is a grant that the DOR got, which breaks it up into verticals. So a lot of our talent can fall under the technology vertical, and that's 999 hours of subsidized wages. And sometimes, if they are a consumer of both departments, we can get both programs set up, which means you can essentially, if they're working full time, have a full year of an internship or, longer depending on if they work full time or part time. So I am happy to answer any questions about these programs. Zavikon helps you set them up. And we'll talk a little bit more about the benefits that our employers who are on the panel have received from using these programs. And here's our information. All right. So we are going to pop back over to our panel, and I'm going to have our panelists introduce themselves. I would like, when you're introducing yourself, to tell me a little bit about your organization, the size of your company, and what aspect of entertainment industry are you in? So we'll start with Hollie.
Hey, Rebecca. Hi, everyone. My name is Hollie Choi. I'm the managing director at EIDR, it's spelled EIDR. EIDR it sits sort of in the media distribution space. So we work with all of the major studios and distribution partners. So things like Google, Amazon, Disney, all of the Warner Brothers, Paramount, all of those guys are folks that sit on our board of directors. We've been around about 15 years, and the remit of EIDR is basically to be similar to, like if you have a book, on the back of the book, you have that number, the ISBN, that is like the barcode for the book. And if you look it up, it'll tell you who is the publisher and who was the author, and some sort of identification information about your book. So EIDR does the same thing, but for media and entertainment assets. So movies, television shows, radio programs, podcasts, anything audio or audiovisual.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll go to Paul.
Hi, I'm Paul Hemstreet, and I have my own production company, Home and Yonder, and I also am head of video and film production for Autism In Entertainment. Before working on for Autism In Entertainment, I worked at Warner Brothers for over 23 years as head of special features content production for all the films and TV shows going to disc and digital. And I have 2 kids on the spectrum, adults, and one of them studies animation.
Thank you. And Jason.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jason Weissbrod. I'm one of the co-founders of Spectrum Laboratory, which is a California, Los Angeles-based nonprofit organization where we train and educate young artists, actually artists of all ages now, in the fields of acting, filmmaking, music, voiceover. And our goal is to bring anyone at any level, whether you're a beginner or if you're advanced looking for work, to come into our organization, learn about your passions, what you're into, and then if you're set for a career path and want to get into the entertainment industry, we try to pair you up with mentors and give you help build your portfolio and give you a training to help you, get work in the entertainment industry. And we've been around. We just are celebrating our 10th year, so we've been around for 10 years, and we've worked with Zavikon, and it's been really a great collaboration so far, and we're one of the educational partners for Autism Entertainment as well.
That's incredible, Jason. Thank you so much. And you are embracing hiring neurodivergent individuals in your workplace as well as training. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about how that experience has been.
So far, it's been great. I mean, basically, like there's a bunch of really talented people who come through through our classes, and they get to a certain level where they want to try to audition for shows or they want to create their own content. And so a lot of these artists, we're able to hire them to learn from our mentors and learn about how they can build their portfolios, to how they can train, how they can become teachers as well. We even hired some people from who are students who are now teaching with us. And the paid internship program has been really great because especially in the earlier years when we haven't had enough funding in spec labs to necessarily bring these artists on. So through the paid internship program, because we're not paying for them directly, it's through the regional center. So we're getting to train them even more. So I think of it as like that extra step and that extra time we get to train with them. And some of them stay on with us, or some of them use that knowledge to go on and try to find work elsewhere. So it's been great. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And Hollie, I mean, you are here because you've embraced neurodiversity in your workplace. Can you tell us a little bit about why?
Sure. So EIDR is a nonprofit organization. So we're not a nonprofit as in a 501c3, we're a 501c6. So we're a business association nonprofit. So that said, our board of directors and all of our members like to keep their fee structure very low, which means that we don't have a lot of budget. So that also will mean that things happen much slower for us when we want to have any kind of technology upgrading. We deal with a ton of metadata, and that just takes a lot of manpower or time. Not manpower, but woman power too, but all the powers. So we do need a lot of folks that are really sort of leaned in and working with us. And we tend to rely on our membership community a lot for helping us maintain our data and our technology. So when we started talking, Rebecca, started talking to me about bringing some folks on, it really started to make a lot of sense to us, because even the stuff that we do where an intern could do this work, we don't have funds to do that. There are really, in total, there are about 3 of us that are employees. We have a couple of vendors that sort of supply extra workers for us, but for the most part, it's like 3 people that do this. And it's a big media and entertainment space and a lot of demand on us. And it really does, it just sort of takes a long time to get anything done because we just don't have people to do it. So for us, it made a lot of sense to bring in somebody. I have somebody on my staff who's really senior, and he can really work with the folks that Zavikon brings to us. So for us, it's a matter of this work would not get done at all, or it would take us significantly longer, and I mean in years, to get it done without the extra help. So.
And I love that, through this program, the individuals that we're bringing to EIDR is putting a tremendous amount of energy into training them and giving them work experience that's very relevant for them to take forward in their careers from a technology perspective, a research perspective, and they're getting to learn the entertainment industry while they're doing it as well. So it's been a really incredible experience for all of the individuals that are working with you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, somebody gave me a shot way back when, and some of these folks they're really, really smart. They're really diligent. They work hard. They want to learn. So it's, and I remember being that way when I was younger too, right? Like I was really interested in learning everything. And these, these workers are just, they're amazing that way. They're super fun to work with because they're just really excited. So
Yeah, and through EIDR's network, the individuals are also getting exposed to the board and to the other studios, which is really, really incredible. So they too will embrace neurodiversity hiring. So we have a lot of success stories. I mean, tons of success stories. Um, but Paul, I'm going to throw it over to you. You really have worked with all of the individuals from AIE. Can you share a success story and how it's positively impacted the work that you're doing?
Sure. And to give people a little background, I produce content with neurodivergent crews and editors. We produced all the video content shown at the Autism in Entertainment conference last year, Spectrum Spotlights. I had a team of people on the spectrum shooting all the footage across all the different panels and meeting rooms and all of that. And we've produced other content at events outside of Autism Entertainment, at Spec Labs for an event with Jorge Gutierrez, and also at the Laugh Factory, for example. So a success story I'd like to point out is one of the Spectrum Spotlights. We did a piece on Danny Bowman, and we had a lot of success with that piece. We entered it in film festivals, and it got accepted to the Comic-Con International Film Festival in San Diego and got to screen there last summer, which is very exciting. And we got to have a panel discussion. Danny Bowman showed up. She is very well known in Comic-Con circles. And it was such a great experience working with my team, working with a camera crew on the Spectrum. We worked with Julian Graychuk, and Julian not only was the director of it and shot it, he was also the editor. And he brought all sorts of skills to it. A great sense of cinematography. He had a great sense of music in the editing. And I was really pleased with how the piece turned out. And working with our crew, it was seamless, and getting the graphics integrated and everything. So that was a very positive experience, and that piece had a lot of traction and a lot of legs.
Great. I love that. And I'm going to throw it to Jason. Success story.
Specifically through the PIP we're talking, I would say probably one of my favorite stories so far is one of our students, Dominique Brown, who some people may recognize. He's an actor and a musician, a singer-songwriter. He was on Netflix's Atypical. He was a recurring character on that show. He just wants to grow and learn more about the industry, and he wants to work, and he's just a very passionate young man. And he was a student, and he kept wanting to work for us, but we didn't have the budget per se to bring Dom on and try out these ideas he had. And so through the PIP program, we now have Dom working in our acting classes, assistant instructing and learning how to run those classes and make copy and, work with the actors and help coach. And then also in the music program, he's helping songwriting and creating demos for students. And so now he's taken the leap from becoming a student to becoming an instructor and learning how to, in a way, do what Garth and I started at Spec Labs and learning from us and some of our other staff. So that's a success story. And our mission right now is to right now our workforce parity rate. And for those of you who don't know what workforce parity rate, it means how many people are individuals with disabilities or neurodivergent folks versus neurotypical. And our workforce parity rate right now, I think due largely because of the PIP, is up to about 70 to 80, 75% right now of people who work for us that are identify as either on the autism spectrum or neurodivergent. So that's largely thanks to the PIP program. So it's been a great success story for us so far.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I mean, there's a lot of misconceptions, about hiring from the community. And I'm gonna, talk to you, Holly, about, what are you're new to this. And so what were some of the fears or misconceptions that you had going in and going into the, next question, have you experienced any competitive advantages by embracing this?
I think the things that I was kind of concerned about going in were, well, I think I had questions really around the program, right? So I wasn't sure. I didn't want to give anybody the idea that like at the end of this, there's a job for sure waiting for you, because it really kind of depends on how well the company does, whether or not I'm able to bring on additional folks. So I just didn't want to make promises we wouldn't be able to keep. And that was sort of my biggest concern. I have a technology background, so I feel like I've worked with folks that are on the spectrum, diagnosed or not, for years and years, right? And so, I feel like I didn't really have any kind of concerns about, how the work would get done or if the work would get done or anything like that. I sort of had a good sense of, what was I really getting myself into, and what was I getting the team into. And I was kind of worried that my the person who really supervises these guys on a daily basis, just making sure that he would understand that they just work differently, and just sort of not having expectations that are out of line with that. But the thing is, though, the Zavikon team really made it so easy because there's a support person at Zavikon. Like, these guys come with a team of support, right? So like if you need something or you don't feel like you're struggling with how to overcome some kind of a hurdle, you get them involved, you get the team involved, right? And we have one of our guys he's so much fun. His dad like sits in the room with him, and so this is sort of one of the things that I was worried about is my the person I have supervising, is he going to be okay with having dad right there? But dad's super helpful, right? So it's kind of nice. You get more than one person, really. Did I answer your question? I feel like I sort of
Yeah. So do you feel like you've received some competitive advantages by hiring?
Well, we don't really have a lot of competitors in the media and identifier space, but I do think, we're working on a program too. I also manage another organization in entertainment, and we're now talking about bringing folks on at that organization as well. And I do think that there will be some kind of competitive advantages there, just because the person that we're bringing on is going to help us with our, with some of our public facing website and materials and things. So that one is a little more competitive in that space. And so I'm looking forward to getting started, because we have a lot of ideas, and we think that this one's going to bring a lot of expertise that we wouldn't otherwise have access to.
Fantastic. And I'm hearing you say if the budget's there, you would hire from.
I would.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. So these programs.
Can I piggyback off competitive
Yes.
advantage for a second?
Jump.
One thing I've noticed, and I just want to say also off that, yeah, Zavikon's team is great, and shout out to Hillary and Natalie and stuff that have been really kind of helping our PIP people go through the process. It's a lengthy process, but they've been really helpful getting through the process. So if anyone out there is daunted by the process, they help you step by step, and it's really great. But one competitive advantage I've noticed, and it's not like there's competitors, but what I have noticed is when clients come to us in the past, when we haven't had as big of a team, and due largely to the PIP, we have a stronger team now that we could put on these jobs. So clients come to us, and when they hear that, wow, like most of the team that's going to work on their project is neurodivergent or on the autism spectrum, we tend to get more work, I think, because I think a lot of people want to embrace that and work with that. So that was just something when I thought of competitive advantages compared to when they've gone to a normal ad company to make a commercial, or versus come to Spec Labs to make the commercial. I think that really helps us and other companies want to be involved with that kind of work environment. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw it over to Paul, because I know that you experience the advantages every day.
Yes, for sure. And for instance, we got a job for a PBS show called A World of Difference. And that show hired us to produce a segment, which we're working on right now. It's it explores neurodiversity, different stories, and we're able to bring a neurodivergent crew to the project. So we're talking the talk, we're walking the walk, and giving people great experience for the production. And we're also able to compete in a way that is so affordable. So we have multiple people on this project who have PIPs or the DOR work experience, and that really saves us on budget, especially in post-production, which can go longer than planned many times. Whereas you have a shoot, it's very contained, but a editing process can take a long time. And it really gives us the ability to meet those demands and not break the budget.
Absolutely. And I'll just the next two questions we've pretty much addressed around, have these subsidy programs benefited you? And the answer is absolutely they do. You know, hopefully it hasn't been difficult for you to navigate the program, that Zavikon has done that for you. We heard the cats, and it does take a little time. I guess that probably is one of the challenges, is that you have to wait once you've chosen the individual. But is it worth the wait, Jason?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's like 3 or 4 people right now. I'm like, all right, let's get them on, because I want them to like start already. I'm ready. I'm ready to give them work right now. And we're waiting on it. So yes, it's definitely worked out very great to our advantage for Garth and I at Spec Labs. And we love it because it goes right hand in hand with our mission.
Yeah, and we hope through these programs, the programs at the end of the day, the hope is that they will get hired by the organization.
Right.
But, for Spec Labs and for Paul, working with AIE, it's increasing, the ability to do more work and to increase revenue. So hopefully that will help you be able to bring them on. But even if you're not able to bring the individual on at the end of the PIP, they have received such incredible experience, and they have it on their resume so that they can bring it forward to another employer, which I think is just fantastic. But for the businesses on this webinar, it does take anywhere between like 4 and sometimes 6 weeks to get all the paperwork in place. It's really easy for you. Zavikon does all the work. You sign a work site agreement, but you do have to wait, because not all regional centers are the same. So some are faster than others, depending on how many people they have working these programs in their organizations. So switching, go ahead.
Rebecca, can I jump in on that
Absolutely.
for a second? We had the benefit of you helping us get people onboarded. Thank you to Zavikon for that. Was a process. It did take that time. I had to fill out paperwork as well, but I think it's so worth it. And I just want to add that in the DOR specifically for the work experience program, they've been very supportive and also flexible. So once we've gotten into the program, they've really worked with us. They've quickly approved things. If we had to update on a new project, if we had to pivot to a different project, they were open to that and supportive, and extending deadlines. If we originally said we'd be completing this by fall of 2024, they've extended it based on our project timelines and other opportunities that came along. So it's opened us up to be able to do additional work on that program, which has been wonderful.
Great. And for all of you on the call, DOR stands for the Department of Rehabilitation, and their purpose is to help individuals with disabilities find employment. So they have an incredible program. They will support people's education, equipment, the things that they need to be successful in the workplace. And in both instances, they're paid by a different entity that also covers their workers' comp and sick time. So all that is on that third party that is paying them. So switch gears into like accommodations, and a lot of employers are fearful that accommodations might cost them a lot of money, that it might be difficult to accommodate their intern. So going to you, Holly, has it been difficult, the accommodations, to set them up for success?
No, not at all. We haven't really had to do, I mean, like I said before, right? It's you work a little differently with them, but it's not something that costs me anything. It doesn't cost me time or money to do those things. You know, the setup for us was, I think I signed a document, and we, like I said, we have a bunch of work that probably isn't going to get done if these guys aren't here. So I don't mind waiting for the documentation to be done, but then also, yeah, I mean, you sort of, like I said, you get a whole team with them. So it's, each one of them has a support team. So most of the what most people would call accommodations, I think, are just differences. Like, it doesn't really feel like we're having to do anything special other than just recognize that it's a whole village. It's not just the one person. But I feel like that's actually better. I wish that when I was starting out that I was allowed to bring my village with me, that they could hook me up and, advocate for me and help me.
Yeah.
But no, I don't, it's not invasive. Like there's nothing really that you have to like really accommodate other than just having an open mind that you're going to have to just work a little bit different. It really doesn't feel that different.
Great. Anything, Jason, Paul, on accommodations?
Yeah, I agree with what Holly said. It doesn't really cost anything. It does require you learn each individual and get to know their working habit, but that's really the way we should work with anybody. You learn people's strengths. One person might need a little more reminding to get certain things done, and another person may just have some other scheduling times a day they prefer to work. So it's more about just getting used to their particular style.
Great.
Which would be the same with anybody, right?
Yeah.
You kind of
Right.
have to get used to people's styles anyway. So
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So last question, because I want to open it up for questions to see if anybody participating wants to ask you guys questions. But any advice that you would offer the entertainment industry in terms of neurodiversity inclusion? And we're really trying to, at AIE, bring this forward to all the different studios and production houses to encourage them to experience hiring from our community. Jason, what advice would you give to the entertainment industry?
To employers in the entertainment industry?
That's right, employers.
I think basically, like, I think we're living in a world right now where we just want to be surrounded by fun, like-minded, awesome people. And this community has a lot of creative, passionate, like-minded, awesome people that really want to work. So it's worth it to take the little extra time, it may be, or to learn certain, needs or certain things that might happen. If someone has, like, POTS, for example, POTS, like, they may have a day where they might have to miss, and that's okay because of that, and not always be grinding. So, like, I keep telling all of my people who work with me that it's a lot easier to train someone who has a positive, great attitude and wants to work than it is someone that's necessarily technically awesome. So the industry has always been about, oh, they're really technical, good person. Even if they're not that fun to work with, they'll get the job done quick. I kind of wish, and I think the industry is slowly working towards slowing down a little bit and, like, inviting more diverse, different types of people into the workplace. And I think they'll see benefit from it in the long run.
Awesome. Paul?
I think I would say that it's time to jump in and hire people who think differently. We need that more than ever now, and it's an advantage to your company as a creative company or anybody to have people that can approach problems from different ways, whether they're creative or logistical. And you'll be opening yourself to an incredible amount of talent by doing this.
Thank you. And Holly?
I would say So we have an annual meeting that we present to our member companies, and Hillary came last year and presented, and I got more of the room. Like, and these are big companies, the big ones, right? And I had more people ask about getting Hillary's contact information than anything else we presented that day. Because when you talk to people, everybody knows somebody who is neurodivergent, or they have a nephew or a cousin or a sister or a brother or whatever. And I had so many people come to me and say, this is really great. How can we get involved, or how can we, get my nephew on this program? So I think we made more connections for Zavikon at that event. And so I would say people are already interested. And I think you're sort of missing out if you're one of the last people to really understand this and adopt it, because people already are interested and people already want this. So I don't think I think it's just a matter of exposure. Right? If people just get to know that this is available and that there are ways that you can help, and that they're helping you. They like, it's sort of a win-win, right? Like, I help them, they help me, and everybody wins here. So
Awesome. Thank you. So we're going to open it up for a few questions. We have some time. I'm looking to see, there is a question from Michael. Are all EIDR interns located in Redwood City, or can they be located in Los Angeles?
So I can tell you Googled EIDR. Yeah, there was. So EIDR actually, this is my home, and everybody that works for EIDR works from home. We are 100% remote work. So we don't care where you are. So
Anywhere.
anywhere. Yeah.
And then I think you did answer Christian's question, which was about collaborating with Disney and Warner Brothers for more learning opportunities.
Yeah. So the question in the chat was, and I did quickly answer it, but the question was sort of like, do we work with those companies to, kind of expand the learning? I think the way that we have our folks working today, they don't directly interact with our member companies, but it's just because that's the projects that we have available today. If we did have a project where it made sense to have them interacting with our member companies directly, we would do that. We are kind of just of a behind the scenes kind of organization in general. So there isn't really a lot of opportunity for that, but if it came up, we would absolutely do it.
Great. Are there any more questions? If you want to raise your hand, you can come off mute and ask your question as well. Oh, Michael Levine.
Hi. Well, I'm a composer, but I'm also a screenwriter. And I've written a screenplay called Beau about a 17-year-old autistic girl who trains a, quote, untamable horse for the sport of show jumping and finds purpose and self-worth in the process. And I'm kind of at the beginning stages of trying to get this launched. And I guess, I'm running up the flag of every flagpole I know and saying, do you guys have any suggestions about who to bring it to and how to go about getting this launched?
Well, yeah, we have, a bunch of projects and students and films that scripts everybody's writing, or TV pilots we're trying to get done. I think, the best suggestion is going to a lot of workshops or screenwriting conventions, or meeting if you see some people you really, the type of show you have, and like the type of network or that you really want that show is right for, or what network it is, like try to go to those functions or try to be present in those circles. It is still an industry of like who and meeting people. Blind submitting your script is a very long shot. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen, or somebody might take notice. But I try to say also, screenwriting festivals, there's a ton of them. Don't pay a lot of money to submit, but there's some good ones, but I wouldn't do the free ones as well, because those tend to be maybe not as, high up. So just researching on Film Freeway. I don't know if you know about Film Freeway yet.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
I've done all of that sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
square
So
one
it's
kind of
like,
stuff, and I've had a lot of really good feedback, and
yeah,
I'm very positive returns. I guess in a sense, what I'm looking for is, I'm trying to get past the gatekeepers to people like Bella Ramsey, for example, who's come out as autistic and would be fine for the lead role, or
yeah,
Ethan Hawke, who could be fine as a director who has come out as autistic. And I'm looking for people in our community who have, the name recognition and to get something happening. Because, bluntly, that the sort of workshop thing, whatever, I've done that, and I think that I'm in version 9 and it's in the things are in order, but I guess I'm looking for more specific connections.
well, yeah, research those specific connections and reach out, And the other thing I will say, it is frustrating. I get it. But there's a lot of stories here about people shopping around scripts for years, and they did that racket. And then when they gave up, they went to one of those things and met somebody that made it happen. So, that's just kind of the game.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to offer?
Rebecca, I saw a couple other questions come up in the chat.
Okay.
So one question is, what kind of educational background do your employees have? So the people want to know, panelists, what sorts of talent and educational backgrounds have you brought on?
All our teams we've been working with at Autism in Entertainment have mostly had some sort of college education or vocational training. Many are graduates of different colleges around. We have the UC system graduates, but they're all people who've had some training and had that aptitude for production or editing and are looking to deepen it.
Yeah, and most of the people that we've placed at EIDR, most of them do have some type of education, but it's not absolutely necessary. It's that they have to show the desire to do the type of work. And it is very research-oriented work, detailed work. And they just have to have the aptitude to kind of do it over and over and over again because it is repetitive, but each title is different. So there are nuances and you have to be creative as well because you have to figure out you're looking for certain data in different languages and how do you do that? And so it's actually very interesting work.
Yeah,
But
I think most of the folks that we've brought on have been new grads, but I think we do have one that is a little more senior than that, that has been around the industry for, or just in general working and for quite a long time. To your point, Rebecca, like we have a lot of metadata work, but it sounds pretty simple that there would be, if you look at television metadata, it's like, well, there's a series, a season, and episodes. Not always. And some of the weird stuff that we do in the entertainment industry to our content, the way that we broadcast it creates confusion. And there's stuff that it has the same name, but it may or may not have been the right, like the same film or the same television show. So it's nuanced. And so you do sort of have to be, it's more a personality thing. Like some people will just go, close enough, right? That doesn't work for us. It has to be exact. And so people that are really, really care about that detail and make sure that they got it absolutely right and are willing to go down every rabbit hole necessary to figure out which one is this. It's more important to us that somebody is that kind of way as opposed to, I'm not as concerned about the education specifically.
Rebecca, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, for instance, the DOR work experience requires that you be done with your college education or not a current student to qualify for that funding. So there's some requirements for some of the subsidy programs that are tied
yeah,
to your status as
Yeah,
a student or not.
with the PSP, we can work with individuals who are still students, but they're getting ready to graduate. So,
Mhm.
especially the Pathways to Success program, again, is focused on verticals. So, what they focus on is individuals that are showing that they have an education and a strong desire or work experience in a certain area that, that's their career objective. So, it's based off of career objectives in the verticals that they have identified. So a lot of the individuals that we're working with in entertainment can fall under that technology vertical. Um, and Judy, I see you have a question that you wanted to me to discuss, which was discuss how payroll works with the paid internship program.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think especially for employers in California, it's gotten so complicated onboarding employees that the streamlined nature of the PIP is really unusual and makes it a very easy to deploy way of bringing someone on board.
Yeah, so when an individual is going through the regional center system for a PIP, they will be paid by another company. They're referred to as financial management companies. And more often than not, it's an organization called GT Independence, but not always. And they will get onboarded with that organization. They will submit their timesheets to that organization. Um, the employer will sign a worksite agreement with that organization, but GT Independence is the employer of record. They cover workers' comp, pay, they have their payroll schedule, they have a team of people there to help if there's any questions. They do a full employment onboarding, background checks, sexual harassment training, all of those things. If it's through the Department of Rehabilitation, it's very similar, but they're generally paid through the Federation of California Community Colleges. The FCCC becomes their employer of record. And so if you work with both programs as a work site, one time you might be signing up with GT Independence, and if it's DOR, you'll be signing a work site agreement with FCCC. Did that answer the question, Judy?
Yeah, Rebecca. I had another question, and I know we're kind of focusing more on the behind the scenes kind of talent, but I think we also have some successes of organizations that are bringing on talent for in front of the screen, for the performing or for voiceover. And it might be nice for people to hear some of those successes, if that's okay. I
Yeah,
think
sure.
Jason's probably a good person
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
talk to that a little.
Yeah, you're just saying, yeah, success stories of on camera and voiceover. Yeah, a lot of our actors who go through our training program through Kathy McCauley is a wonderful voiceover artist, professional who's been in 40 years making her living as voiceover, runs our program and takes students through the whole beginning and intermediate, advanced to apprenticeship programs where they're making their demo reels, they're submitting for auditions, and then we've had success where they've booked jobs. They've done one of our actors, Atticus Baldwin, is like I think this week is appearing on a show called God's Gang as a voiceover character, and Tyler Berman is the announcer for that show. And then we have a bunch of other clients who have hired us in all different types of departments. Sesame Street hired us to do music through our music program for composing scores. We just finished up a series of commercials for a healthcare company, which was I was talking about earlier, which they hired us because they knew we would mostly have a neurodivergent crew specifically. And a lot of those people who worked on these jobs are people who are currently or have been mostly currently in we mostly work with the PIP program, the paid internship program. So for growing our business, we've really seen a big increase. And some of those success stories, some of those people, what's great is we actually get to hire our actors and our voice actors to work on these jobs as well. So they'll actually get a paid job for working, doing voice. So not only are we hiring our talent in the PIP to like run camera or edit or, they're also in front of camera and doing voice acting. And so it's really like, it's been able to kind of like, Paul sure knows about this. It's like all around. So it's not just behind camera, it's in front of camera, it's a whole production. So because of this program and working with Zavikon and just the way our program runs, we've been able to kind of become almost like an advertising company, a client. Like people can hire us to work on all different types of projects. And yeah, Judy, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, a bunch of our actors are getting gigs and TV shows and commercials and television shows and all sorts of fun stuff. I'm actually in New York right now. I'm normally in LA, but our film House of Masks got selected for the Marvels of Media Film Festival, which is happening this weekend, which is an autistic creative media maker festival, which is amazing. If you're in New York, or if you can go next year, or just fly out right now. It starts tonight, but there's a lot of great, and I'm on a panel on that talking about, autistic creatives and how they can get work and get into the business. So there's just a lot of cool stuff out there that I've seen. I mean, I started Spec Labs 10 years ago, and just within this 10 years, the growth from then till now. So I'm really hoping in 10 years from now, our mission is really going to be out there. We're going to see a lot more diverse stories and different types of people working in front of and behind camera.
That's amazing, Jason. Congratulations. And I hope you love being in New York. Well, we're coming up on time, and I really want to thank the panelists for coming and sharing with everybody. Keep up the great work. You guys are really doing great work. All I can say is if you're a business, please reach out to Zavikon. We can help you with these programs. Spread the word to other employers so that we can open more doors. Zavikon works with all talent, not just creatives. We work with technical talent, finance, whatever the individual wants to do for their career. But we do need to open the doors and more studios and production houses for our talented creatives. And that's the purpose. So please spread the word. Let employers know that they are missing out if they're not looking at the community to hire from. All right. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate your participation.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Thanks.